If you never accomplish anything all year, I want you to walk away from the scarcity mindset. What's going on, guys? It's Uzziah, your success consultant, and in today's video, this is going to be really important. I'm going to talk about the difference between having a scarcity mindset versus a mindset of abundance, because the mindset of scarcity will corrupt anything that you set out to do on the journey of success. The scarcity mindset is a cancer in our community. It's a cancer in your personal life. It's a cancer in the life of your friends, your loved ones, your family, your community. And we are never going to get ahead on any level as long as we carry a scarcity mindset. So what is a scarcity mindset? A scarcity mindset always looks at a very small object, and you feel as though life is just a competition for that very one small object. So to give you an example, let's say, for example, that I come and I give you a pizza, and there's 5 people in the room, and a couple of the people take away really big slices. If you have a scarcity mindset, you're going to take exception to the fact that these couple people are taking all of these slices because their gain means your loss. Them taking away from this one pizza means that I guess you're just going to starve to death because there's no other pizzas in the world. Someone with an abundance mindset looks at the number of people that are trying to compete for the same exact pizza, and they recognize that they could always go and make more pizzas because the world is big enough for everybody to eat. You don't have to fight and scavenge over, oh, well, let me take this little crumb of crust, because if I don't get this little crumb, then I'm just never going to be successful in life. No. Somebody with an abundance mindset understands that there's always room for more. So instead of dedicating so much energy to fighting somebody else for the tiny little scraps at the table, the person with the abundance mindset always has a producer's mentality. He always knows that he can create more. Someone with a scarcity mindset can only see the thing that's right in front of him. He can never put himself in a position to say, how can I empower myself to make more pizzas? How can I realize that everybody can be well fed, and them eating well has nothing to do with me because I'm going to walk away from my experience in life being well fed? A person with a scarcity mindset is always going to hate the 4 other people that was eating pizza with him because them eating from the exact same pizza meant that somehow they were losing in life. Scarcity mindset is a cancer that I want you to be able to do away with as quickly as possible. You know people like this in your personal life. You know people that if you accomplish something, they feel as though it's a shot to them. Not because of the fact that the world is big enough for everybody to win, but they have such a scarcity mindset on life, such a negative view, that nobody else can achieve anything because the world is just so small and so finite that they always have to be the only person that can win. They feel as though the town isn't big enough for the both of us. That's how a person with a scarcity mindset operates. Honestly, I can't stand to be around those types of people. And if you want to be successful in life, you need to start distancing yourself away from those types of people as much as possible, because they will become a hindrance to your growth. I'm going to give you another example. Someone with a scarcity mindset hates to see another person win. I'll give you an example. Imagine that you're sitting in a room right? Again, let's now say there's 10 people in a room. And maybe you're in a class and the professor, maybe you guys were working on a project. Maybe a few of you guys in the room were all working on this project together. And the professor credits everybody on the team by name for having done a great job. A person with a scarcity mindset has so much envy and so much jealousy and so much insecurity that the minute that they hear anyone's name except their own be praised and acclaimed in the classroom, they're going to feel a certain type of a way about it. And sometimes they're never going to openly say that they have a problem with it, but you're going to notice it in how they alter their behavior towards you. Maybe they may try to create situations where they try to undercut your own performance so that way you don't do as good on the next project. Maybe they'll try to create situations where everybody else that's on the project team, he's going to bring the rest of the team closer into him so that way he can almost kind of assassinate your character. It's not enough that everybody on the team gets credit and everybody on the team all wins. Since the world is big enough for us all to win, the person with the scarcity mindset cannot imagine a world where anybody wins outside of themselves. And this is the reason why I keep telling you that when it comes to your own personal spirit, you've got to be able to purge that out as quickly as possible. I know that you've never grown up being taught in school about a scarcity mindset, but this is the real education. You've never been told this from your parents. You've never been told it from your friends. And honestly, a big part of the reason why you've never been told it from them is because a lot of them have a scarcity mindset. People that operate with an abundance mentality is very rare in the world. And a person that has an abundance mentality on life understands that the next person's gain is not their loss. A person with the abundance mentality, if they're sitting in that project team and everybody gets commended, the person with the abundance mentality, he's trading high fives with everybody else on the team. He's applauding everybody else on the team. In fact, he's encouraging the efforts of what everybody else in the team is doing because he understands that by empowering the rest of his team, that only makes him better. He's not going to tear down everybody else on the team and try to pump himself up to be so great. He's going to empower every person that's working around him so that way the team can collectively win. Success is a team sport. And if you're a business owner and you're building an organization, you're going to want to have people that have an abundance mentality. Because as you're trying to build any organization, any business, you have to have key players that wants to see everybody on the team make it. If you try to build a company and you start hiring all of these employees that are only out for self, they don't care about the bigger picture of the company at all. They don't care about the goals. They're not serious about helping others. They could care less about the performance. A person that has a scarcity mindset will step into an organization, see a ball get dropped and say, well, that's not my job to pick up the ball. A person with an abundance mentality will always pick the ball up knowing that other peers in his organization would do the exact same thing for them. Scarcity mindset versus an abundance mindset. This is a difference in mentality. And what you got to be able to do is you got to start noticing that in other people. Who among you has a scarcity mindset? Who among you has an abundance mindset? Do you have a mindset that's driven towards scarcity? And honestly, growing up, especially in the Black community, many of us do. Many of us have grown up in environments where, gang fights, killings, all types of stuff happen on the basis of somebody else shining while somebody else had a problem with it. And I want to be able to pull you out of that, because that will corrode how far you can go in your life. Because guess what? People notice that mentality. People notice, maybe they don't put the title of abundance versus scarcity on it, but one thing that you're always going to notice, and this is so important and so key, people that make a lot of money in life and are very successful, these are people that are often known for having an abundance mentality in private settings, because in order for them to become successful, they had to be able and willing to share their value with a lot of people. See, a person with a scarcity mindset, imagine this channel. If I have a scarcity mindset, do you think that I'm going to take all of these, mentor lessons, priceless gems of wisdom, and try to bottle it all up into an experience that you're going to get for free? If I got a scarcity mindset, I'm going to look at life and say, well, they wasn't in the room with me when I found out that life lesson. Why should they learn that all for free? Do you know what I had to go through to learn this and learn that and learn that? I'm only going to be able to see what works supposedly in my own best interest. I'm never going to be able to take a step back and say, well, you know what? The world is so big that even if I share this with everybody on the planet, there's still enough room for me to be able to prosper with the exact same principles. In fact, the more people that I share these principles with and grow from it, the more that's going to be able to benefit me. Because in any community, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So by you winning, I win. That's the difference between somebody that has an abundance mentality versus a scarcity mentality, okay? So I want you to get out of this mindset that life is just one zero-sum game. If you watched one of my previous videos, I talked about how to work the odds in your favor. And working the odds in your favor is all about having a mindset of abundance that says, if you try at something and you fail, the world is abundant enough for you to try again and win. It's not a big world of scarcity where, well, if you try one time and you fail, then you're an ultimate loser and you're an ultimate mess up. It's like just the sky is falling down. No. A person with a scarcity mindset has those perceptions, and that's the reason why they never self-develop. Going back to what I was saying earlier about people that are more successful and in a professional capacity, they tend to make more money, is because they have the abundance mindset to know that they could aim higher and reap more abundantly. People that have a scarcity mindset, they're going to compete for the same minimum wage, low-class jobs as millions of other people, because they don't imagine a world where they could actually be better and receive better results. So they will spend so much energy fighting for the tiniest of scraps at the table, when in actuality, they could have just made something way bigger. So many people focusing on having a seat at the table, they never actually sat back and thought, well, damn, why don't I just make my own table? Instead of you just fighting over this job that millions of other people have, giving you the exact same amount of money, why not just create your own thing, have your own setup, and you could be able to get that much money and more. This is how you have to retrain your mind for success. And you can only really have an abundance mentality if you operate around people that have a mindset of abundance. If you always surround yourself and allow yourself to be impressioned by people that always have this scarcity mindset, their win is somebody else's loss, everything is this zero-sum game, that type of person is never happy genuinely for another person. because it's always a reflection of, well, where am I at in life? Well, what am I doing? I can't clap for the next person's game because I'm not doing it like that, so I can't be happy for their results. I'm telling you this, the best thing that you can do yourself this year, and it doesn't require any money. You don't have to go to college and get a degree in this. Understand the difference between an abundance type of a person versus a scarcity mindset type of person, and spend more time around people that operate in abundance and less time with people with a scarcity mindset. This is something that I've had to learn as I've grown and developed in my business, as I've grown and developed in my life, and I encourage you to do the exact same thing. And last but not least, the third point that I want to share with you in this video is people that have a scarcity mindset, they're always looking externally to blame other people for their own problems. They're always very quick to point the finger at somebody else. If they're not successful, they're going to blame the economy. They're going to blame the president. They're going to blame what's going on in the world around them to just shape the entire worldview and the lens that you have on how to become successful. A person with an abundance mindset rarely goes in that direction. Yes, they may know that there are external factors that are working against them, but they realize that just having the knowledge of that doesn't change anything. Instead, somebody with an abundance mindset spends 100% of their time operating within their own circle of control. Because the circle of control that you have to be able to change situations, that's where the power lies. So I'm going to give you an example. And then after that, I want you to leave me a comment and tell me what you've taken away from this example. A person with a scarcity mindset, right? If they don't get a certain job, they could look to race. They could look to, them coming from a certain background. They could say, oh, well, because I'm not this person, that's why I didn't get it. Because I'm not that person, that's why I didn't get it. And everybody knows in society that at some level, this could be true. Yes, there could be external factors that pose certain limitations upon you. But a person that operates with that type of scarcity mindset, they never figure out how to be able to maneuver around those challenges because they devote 100% of their time focusing on the problems that are outside of their control rather than focusing on all of the opportunities that are within their control. The person with the abundance mentality knows that there are external forces against them. They're not an idiot. They're not looking through life with rose-colored glasses. The only difference is they're just not focusing on that because there's no change that can come by simply focusing on that. A person with the abundance mentality steps back and says, well, what's within my circle of control? What do I have the power to change for myself personally to put myself in a better position? So a person with an abundance mindset, if they don't get the job, guess what they're going to do? They're going to reposition their skill set. They're going to inquire on maybe why they didn't get the job in a way that's productive and not defensive. They're going to invest in themselves to get the learning that they need to get to be better qualified for the job. And guess what? They're going to apply for the job again. And guess what? Even if they don't get the exact same job 10 times over, they've placed such a strong investment within themselves in the mindset of abundance that by the time they get done investing in themselves, they're already 2 to 3 levels ahead of that job. And they're positioning themselves in a way where they could make even more money than what they initially set out to make, all because of the fact that they had the right attitude for success. They viewed life from a perspective of abundance, and in turn, abundance was given unto them. You get out of life what you put unto it. So, if you put into life a very scarce mindset, scarce results are going to come to you in return. Because as you think, so are you. You think scarcely, and so you're going to reap scarce results. I want you to be able to think abundantly and reap abundantly. So in this comment, I want you to tell me about what you're going to do to be able to have a stronger mindset of abundance. I want you to be very honest with yourself. Take a moment and really think this through. I want you to think about times in which you've viewed your life from a scarcity mindset. Maybe something happened where somebody accomplished something and, instead of just saying, well, hey, that's awesome. Congratulations. I wish I could learn from you. You looked at it with envy. You looked at it with jealousy. And you just tried to focus on tearing that person down or minimizing their accomplishment to the point where you tried to get everybody else to be convinced that what they did didn't matter at all, and it all just came from a scarcity mindset rather than that of abundance. I want you to really think about this, and I want you to leave me a comment below, and I want you to let me know how you plan on reshifting your mind to a mindset of abundance. Remember when you were growing up, or when you've seen little children that are growing up right now, and they might have been playing with somebody else in the playground, and there might have been a toy, and they just made this huge emotional temper tantrum, and they looked at this toy and they was like, mine, 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 mine. Not knowing that there's a million other toys in the toy box to play with. And if you would have taken just a speck of that energy that you would have had towards cutting down and opposing the next person over one little tiny generic toy, you could have played with 10 other toys and lived in abundance. I want you to really think about this. Leave me a comment and let me know how you're going to be able to live in abundance. I want you to reap bountifully. I want you to accomplish great things out of life. But the only way that's going to happen is if you actually internalize these messages enough to create personal change. Subscribe to this video, share it with a friend, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.